On July 22, 1298, during the Wars of Scottish Independence, Scottish hero William Wallace is defeated at the Battle of Falkirk. But who was William Wallace? And what caused his defeat at Falkirk? English King Edward I was known as Edward Longshanks because of his height. He was 6 feet 2 inches tall, which was extremely tall for the 13th century. Edward was determined to conquer all of Britain. He succeeded in Wales and built a ring of iron that included massive expensive fortresses like Conwy Castle and Caernarfon Castle, where his son was formally invested as England's first Prince of Wales. Edward then set his sights on Scotland, leading him to earn another nickname, the Hammer of the Scots. Scottish leaders like William Wallace and Andrew de Moray led guerrilla attacks against English garrisons. The two Scottish heroes even won a surprise victory against a large English army at Stirling Bridge in 1297, although Moray later died from wounds he received there. The following year, Edward I defeated Wallace and his heavily outnumbered Scots at Falkirk. Wallace's men, armed with pikes, were in compact defensive rings called schiltrons. Edward's longbowmen decimated those schiltrons on the open field at Falkirk. The defeat led Wallace to resign as Guardian of Scotland, with Robert the Bruce taking his place. Wallace was captured by the English 2 weeks later and then brutally executed on August 23rd. Wallace's life was immortalized in the Academy Award-winning 1995 movie Braveheart, a film that takes many liberties in its retelling of Wallace's story. Mrs. Lewis and I visited Wales and Scotland in 2025. We made sure to stop at Caernarfon Castle, part of Edward Longshanks' Ring of Iron in Wales. This location was especially fascinating to me since I first learned about the castle as a child and had longed to visit it ever since. We enjoyed exploring the various parts of the castle and marveled at the stunning views from its ramparts. Interestingly, in 1969, Britain's King Charles III, during the reign of his mother Queen Elizabeth II, was invested as the Prince of Wales in a grand ceremony at the centuries-old Caernarfon Castle. More recently, Charles's son William opted not to follow suit, deliberately choosing not to have a lavish investiture ceremony at Caernarfon to respect political sensitivities in Wales. Mrs. Lewis and I also visited Edinburgh Castle in Scotland's capital city. It is built on a steep rocky bluff that rises 250 feet over Edinburgh, giving it a commanding view of the city, the bay known as the Firth of Forth, and the surrounding region. The fortress has been at the center of Scottish history since the first stone structure was built there in the early 12th century. The entrance to Edinburgh Castle is flanked with relief sculptures of two Scottish icons, Robert the Bruce and William Wallace. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1587, the so-called Lost Colony of 118 Englishmen arrive at Roanoke Island in present-day North Carolina. In 1916, a Preparedness Day parade in San Francisco is hit by a suitcase bomb, killing 10 and wounding 40. In 1933, American aviation pioneer Wiley Post completes the first solo flight around the world. In 1942, Nazis begin systematically deporting Jews from the Warsaw Ghetto and sending them to Treblinka. In 1991, police in Milwaukee arrest cannibalistic serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer after a potential victim escapes. In 2003, U.S. Army Private Jessica Lynch receives a hero's welcome in her hometown in West Virginia. In 2011, a Norwegian neo-Nazi detonates a bomb in Oslo and opens fire at a youth summer camp on Utøya. And now it's time for our Today in History quiz. Where is former Union General and 18th U.S. President Ulysses S. Grant buried? Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., New York City, or Cincinnati? Liked learning about William Wallace? Then you'll love this one about another important figure from Scottish history, Mary, Queen of Scots. Tap the screen to keep the story going on Today in History.